Today we're going to visit with North Dakota Game and Fish Director Jeb Williams, Dunn County Emergency Manager Sarah Dutenhefner, and West Dunn Fire Chief Ryan Hauk. And we're going to remind hunters and outdoor recreationists how dry it is and how to minimize the risk of fire when hitting the field this fall. I'm Mike Anderson with the North Dakota Game and Fish Department. Jeb, most of the state is dry. Hunting seasons are already going on, some are opening here shortly. What can hunters and outdoor recreationists do to help minimize the risk of fire?
The most important thing that can be done, Mike, for anybody recreating in the outdoors is to follow the daily fire danger index, which can be found at ND Response. And that's really critical. There's various restrictions that can be in place based on those daily fire danger index. There's particular counties that might have some additional restrictions in place which people need to be aware of.
Well, as we go into the fall season, as forage and rangelands go dormant, and you head out to recreate, do whatever activities you enjoy while enjoying the nice falls here in North Dakota, please be mindful of what is around you and how you're participating in doing that activity, because one small spark from a loose chain from a trailer you're pulling, or if you have a habit of smoking cigarettes, make sure you put that butt out or put it somewhere else, because just a little tiny spark, even from clipping a rock with the vehicle, can cause some significant damage out here. As we went into spring this year, it was pretty tough, as some of us hadn't seen significant moisture at all from August of last year. And as the spring season hit us as rural fire departments, it put a lot of stress and strain, as those of us out in the rural area live in town plus work on farm and ranches. So you leave all those family activities and do a lot of different things, but you're also evacuating places and taking care of stuff as it happens, because you're there to serve and you're putting out fires. But the stress and things that come along with that job aren't always the easiest. So please be mindful when you're out recreating in the outdoors.
The biggest thing is to be prepared. If you're going somewhere to camp or hunt, have things along to take care of a fire. Biggest thing is shovel, extra water, fire extinguisher, those kind of things that will help.
If you're looking as you're preparing to go outdoors and do things, head over to the ND Response. You will find your county that you may be hunting or playing in that day, where they have different restrictions for their burn bans. Some have gone to a full, complete burn ban, and others are following the rangeland index. So make sure you're mindful of what county you're in and how you're participating. Well, when you head out to the outdoors recreate, make sure you're carrying, besides a fire extinguisher, carry a shovel, a rake, some extra water, maybe a blanket or an old sweatshirt, something that if you do come upon a fire, or because most of those fires are started unintentionally. So be prepared to make sure you have something that you know how to use to properly put out a fire, but always make sure you're calling 911.
You can also go to the Dunn County Emergency Management Facebook page. We post pointers and tips, and also have the daily fire index for Dunn County. Other counties also do something that's similar. The biggest concern that I've heard from farmers and ranchers is people parking in taller grass and things like that, and they're worried that fires will start and get out of control quite easily.
People need to use a lot of common sense as far as where they're driving, where they're parking, and we don't necessarily want people parking out on the roads either, but people just need to be paying attention where they're parking, to where that vegetation is not so tall that to where it can hit some warm spots on the underneath of their vehicle.
This forage is very valuable to them, and they know their partnership with the hunters. They want to make sure that everybody has that opportunity to do that, because it's part of some families' traditions. So making sure that guys just want to make sure people are aware of what's going on. If you're parking or coming out there, be mindful where you're parking. Always make sure you're supposed to close the gate after you go through it when you're on that trail, but also keep in mind that trail may have forage on it. And you maybe, in doubt, please don't drive through it if it's still with the dryness conditions that we have.
With the thousands of hunters hitting the field this fall, on a typical year, hunters aren't known for starting fires. Is that correct?
That's correct. If you look at the data associated with people in the field, people recreating in the field, it's not a high number at all, but we want to make sure to keep it that way. And again, we know there's a lot of people that are nervous in rural parts of North Dakota. Having as many people come to those areas to recreate, and just again knowing that unfortunately could take one incident that could really change their lives and could change their neighbors' lives. Those are very real issues for people in rural North Dakota, and so hunters want to make sure to keep that reputation in place. They want to be responsible, and the department obviously wants to help spread that message as best we can to make sure that everybody's taken care of the best way possible.
Be respectful of the property that you're going to and be prepared. Stay safe.
Always have fun when you're out recreating. Enjoy the beautiful things that North Dakota has to offer, but always be mindful and safe that you have to return home to somebody you love.
And you know, just from North Dakotans in general, we want everybody to have a good experience when it comes to recreating in the outdoors, but we also need to be really responsive and receptive to the local concerns based on the extreme dry year that we have in North Dakota.